Well, it appears Marvel Studios came to D23 locked and loaded. We got massive updates, and even though some of it has been officially released, almost every single detail has leaked, with trailers and footage and all kinds of clips finding their way onto the internet. Let's take a couple minutes to talk about what all this new D23 footage reveals, and a little bit of a conspiracy theory on my part on why it's leaking. Let's just say, I think Marvel's playing nice with the fans. Now, this past couple of days have seen Marvel and many other Disney properties come to life at D23. Now, technically, D23 is the official Disney fan club, and this is the D23 Expo, where Disney basically puts on their own version of Comic-Con to focus on all of their properties. This means Pixar, this means Walt Disney Productions, this means Marvel, and this means Lucasfilm. Now, yesterday, Marvel Studios got out and really promoted some of their big live-action projects coming our way, and boy did we find out a lot about, well, pretty much everything. Now, we got some stuff that was officially released, but pretty much everything that was shown got leaked. Multiple trailers, including Captain America, the Fantastic Four, Ironheart, and Daredevil all found their way onto the internet, while Agatha actually got an official trailer release. Now, before we get too far into the video, guys, I want to be really clear. I'm not showing any of the leaked footage. Marvel and Disney are infamous for copyright strikes and takedown notices, and they could pretty much torpedo our efforts with one email should we show some of this footage. So until it's officially released, I think we're going to play it safe, but since they pretty much let anybody and everybody record at the event, I personally believe all of these clips and trailers are going to find their way into an official release over the next week or so. Now, from a tinfoil hat perspective, I actually think Marvel allowed a lot of this to leak. They have been really tight in the past, and lots of D23 stuff has failed to leak. I think this time there's some fan service going on, and Marvel doing their best to build up momentum after a couple of wins. There's obviously no proof of this, but they know what they're doing behind the scenes, and they're definitely trying to recapture that previous magic that's been lost, so all these leaks might actually be on purpose and by design. Let's kick it off with what was officially released, the Agatha trailer. Now, this new Agatha trailer gives us more of an idea of what's going to be happening on the Witch's Road. It is definitely going to be a quest for not just Agatha, but multiple characters to retrieve their witching powers. And this would definitely introduce a whole new element into the MCU by unleashing multiple new magic-using characters. Now, from the trailer, it really does appear to me that Aubrey Plaza's character will ultimately be the villain. There's a couple of shots where she clearly is looking, well, a bit evil, and that little aspect of her breaking the fourth wall, well, that pretty much sealed it for me. Now, everything I see from this makes it look, well, better and better, and I am very interested in what they're doing. It definitely appears darker than most of Marvel's content, and it's definitely going to dive into the horror aspects of the Marvel Universe. Now, there was a big question here, and this name popped up in WandaVision, and I have to ask it now. Was that Mephisto? There is a quick shot at the end of the trailer that features either Agatha or Aubrey Plaza, I can't quite tell, standing in front of a demon, almost seemingly absorbing its power. I'm not sure if this is Mephisto or not, but quite honestly, guys, we've been hearing the name kicked around for so long, and we were so sure he's going to be part of WandaVision. Well, I would not be surprised for some fan service here and to have him finally show up. This is as good a place as any for Mephisto to finally show up in the MCU, maybe even one of the best, and it would make those early teases, well, kind of validated. I'm not really sure how that'll work out, but we'll have to wait and see. As for all the leaked footage, well, let's kick it off with Captain America. Now, in the new Captain America trailer that showed at D23, there was lots of similar footage. As a matter of fact, I would say at least half, if not 70% of the trailer was either stuff we saw in the previous trailer or definitely within a couple of seconds of those clips. Now, there is some new stuff that I did find interesting. In this new trailer, there's definitely a lot more tension between Sam Wilson and Thunderbolt Ross. Well, we knew these two characters were not going to see things eye to eye, and I think the trailer for the first time kind of set a lot of that up. There is a lot of new footage of the Falcon, well, the new version of the Falcon, and he's going to clearly be a pretty big part of this movie. Captain America typically does have a sidekick, and I'm glad they're not waiting long to bring this character to life, and although I don't think he'll be part of Act 1 and Act 2, I do think at the final showdown at Tiamat, we're going to see the character finally come to life and take a prominent role. Now, there was a lot of that Tiamat battle scene, and Sam Wilson seemingly taking on the US Navy, so obviously the tensions with Thunderbolt Ross come to a complete head. Now, the big thing from the trailer, though, was the Red Hulk transformation. We actually see President Ross change into the Red Hulk at the presidential podium. And quite honestly, the CGI Red Hulk did look pretty great and was nothing like that leak we saw several months ago. This was probably the least eventful leaked trailer. I expect this one to hit the internet any day, and hopefully all the reshoots they did have turned this sequel into a winner. I think the biggest leaked trailer that everybody's talking about, though, is Daredevil. And honestly, guys, it was great. There is a lot of Matt Murdock in this footage, and you could tell when this was sort of going to be more of a legal procedural kind of thing, well, how Matt was going to be the focus. Now, it doesn't take long for it to get Marvelized, though, because we do see the White Tiger in prison telling Matt why he wears the mask, and seeing Matt trying to contain his agreement. It seems like the White Tiger will indeed be one of Matt's clients, with the trailer pretty much confirming that finally. Now, we also see Frank Castle, who's back, and Frank is as awesome as ever. He's definitely as brutal as he was in previous series, and we even see Matt actually ask him to put down a hatchet. Now, how big of a role the Punisher has, we don't know quite yet, but I'm pretty sure John Bernthal's Punisher was so popular and such an integral part of Daredevil's world, Marvel will definitely want him front and center. Now, along with Frank Castle, we also got a couple of peeks at the Muse. All the shots are very quick, but it does appear Marvel definitely went with a comic-accurate costume, and I fear many comic fans are in for a villain they completely didn't expect. We also see a good bit of Vincent D'Onofrio's Wilson Fisk. The Kingpin is an absolute force of nature, and I can't imagine any other actor bringing him to life the way Vincent D'Onofrio does. There is that short diner scene we saw being shot, and it's very clear that the Kingpin intends on leveraging his knowledge of Matt's big secret, well, to hold that against him. Now, one little thing I did see in the trailer though that got me excited was costumes, because there is a quick shot that shows, for lack of a better term, Matt's costume room featuring multiple costumes. We see two versions of the red costume, the black costume with the red trim, the yellow costume we got in She-Hulk, and a white costume. So it seems like Matt and his tailor have been pretty busy in the years between Season 3 and Born Again. One of the other trailers that has leaked is the Fantastic Four First Steps. And although I don't think this was as clear of a leak, it does give us, well, a great idea of what's going on. Now, I don't think Marvel's going to release this one. I think this one is, well, a little undercooked and still early in production. But from what I saw, it looks really great. The tone is perfect. And I think these alternate worlds and timelines is allowing this tone and vibe to sink in properly before it's integrated with the MCU. It's really part of the mojo of the Fantastic Four. Now, the teams look great and the costumes are, once again, very 1960s. But from what I saw, they absolutely completely work and do draw inspiration directly from those early Kirby comics. Now, like I said, a lot of this is early footage, so I believe everything we got in the leaked clip is from Act 1. Almost all of it features the Fantastic Four preparing to go into space, and what appears to be some of that early footage shot as a test. I'm not even sure how much of this will make it into the movie, but it definitely reminds me of that very early trailer we got for the first Guardians of the Galaxy movie from James Gunn way back in the day, and it has set a positive vibe for the film. Now, we did get to see Galactus at the end, and this was very similar to a shot that had leaked a couple of weeks ago. But what I did notice in the higher resolution was there's definitely Herbie the Robot in the room Galactus is peeking in, so I'm pretty sure that's the Baxter Building and New York is under attack. Now finally, there comes Ironheart, and this one's probably the one that concerns me the most. Now, they are definitely taking an interesting path here, and clearly taking right off from Black Panther Wakanda Forever. Now, if you remember correctly, she didn't get to retain the armor that she built in Wakanda, and now that she's home, well, she's trying to recreate her invention. This leads her on sort of an interesting and alternate path, and quite honestly, based on the trailer, she's sliding down a slippery slope. I don't think she's going to be a villain in this show, but it definitely appears she's stealing to fund her research, and that's, well, stealing is always villain sort of stuff. Now, we did get a quick peek at the Hood, and he is definitely a different kind of baddie that I think will have a pre-established relationship with her, and that'll help really guide where this show lands. I am really wondering where they go with this. The good versus evil aspect of comics becomes harder once waters get muddied. Sometimes you can follow a character as they get tempted and pull back, and that can make for a great story. But if this sort of revelation of the dark path you're following doesn't land right with fans, well, sometimes it can seem a little cheap. So hopefully Ironheart, once we finally get to see the show, sticks the landing, but out of everything that I saw this week, this would be the one I'm most concerned about. as each one of these trailers officially drop. We're going to do a full breakdown. We'll definitely do one for that Agatha trailer, and I expect much more from Marvel in the coming days. Marvel Animation has a panel today, which will probably include a whole nother list of leaks, footage, releases, and pictures. Hopefully we get some updates on all the Marvel animated projects, What If Season 3, X-Men 97 Season 2, Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, Eyes of Wakanda, Zombies, and What If are all coming our way, so I'm sure Marvel has a lot to talk about.